Welcome into another SE Check-In presented today by First Texoma National Bank. Today we are joined by Mason Horner, our first golfing guest on the check-in. It's a shame took so long to get here, but I'm glad we finally did because as you can see, Mason's got maybe the best background we've seen in a Zoom meeting all year. And that's not fake, that's the actual background at the course. So Mason, we're gonna jump in here. I just wanna let people know, in case they don't remember you, where they might know you from. You were an all-conference performer back in 2016, your senior year with the program. You were a 4-year golfer here in helping build up maybe the most successful 4-year run of our golf program since its rebirth. You were 4 trips to the Super Regional. I got to look. There was so much stuff I had to jot it all down. You had a 75.07 over 82 rounds career scoring record. You're one of 4 players to have won tournaments, and you and Zach James are the only players in the golf program history to have won more than one tournament in a season. Your 2015-2016 senior season is the 7th best scoring average, just a hair over par over the course of the entire season. Great career, and as we talked a little bit beforehand, still playing in golf. Zach, I talked about Zach. Mason, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm just I feel like I'm just living the dream out here at Cowboys Golf Club. Golf's just been a huge impact on my life, and to be able to give knowledge of the game to the junior golf community and grow the game has been really special, and even being able to play whenever I can professionally. So I'm very lucky to be where I'm at here, Matt, for sure.
Well, it is good to see you. Let's back up just a little bit. Let's get in the Wayback Machine. I want to know, way back in 2013, what was the process in the decision making that got you to Southeastern?
Well, you got to go back even further than that, because my junior year in high school, when I was at Denton Guyer, Don Hudson, the golf coach when I was there, he came out and watched me play a tournament at Robeson Ranch in high school, and he talked with my dad, and I got to kind of get to know Don. Such a great guy, great coach. He's very philosophical in how he coached us when I was there, but I really just enjoyed his presence as kind of like he was a guide to me, or a tutor for that matter. But he talked to my dad about, Mason always gets the ball to the hole, and he just loved that. And obviously I was an aggressive player when I was a little younger. I might have matured a little bit, not too much these days, but whenever I just had my first year of golf at Dallas Baptist University, and I loved being there. It was great. It just wasn't necessarily for me. And I knew Don Hudson, so I gave him a call. And sure enough, he was like, yeah, come on out. And we had a discussion out there at, Chickasaw Point there in Kingston, where we practiced in college. And he talked to me, and then all of a sudden he gave me an offer. And I said, yeah, I really like Don, and he's the main reason I chose Southeastern.
Well, it was a good choice. You landed here at a good time. The golf program was taken off and was showing some success, but over the 4 years you were here, really blew up. I want to talk about first, kind of you individually. You developed a bit of a reputation here. As you said, you were an aggressive player. You were a guy that could go out and put 60s on the board when you needed to. Talk a little bit about your approach to the game when you got to the college level.
Yeah, you hit the driver hard, and you try to make as many birdies as you can. And, I was never one to shy away from going for it. So, I might have made a bunch of birdies, but following that up, there might be a bunch of bogeys. And hopefully you make enough birdies to count the bogeys that you make. So I think I grew into a very good putter, and that's when that kind of helps me a lot, get me out of trouble. I made a lot of par putts, long birdie putts, especially whenever people never really expected me to make them. So the flat stick was definitely a major benefit in my golf career as a collegiate player.
Well, along those lines, other things I was looking up earlier, you do rank, and you can see the aggressive nature. You do rank in the top 5 in both birdies and eagles along those lines, and you can definitely see where over your last couple of years, especially, the putting took over and really leveled your game out. And in the process of doing that, it really, along with the rest of your team, things started to mesh. I want to talk a little bit about how successful to think about this in terms of how, the different programs are. There are not many programs in any sport that go to the postseason at the NCAA level 4 straight seasons in a row, and you guys did that.
Yeah, I think that just we had a great team all 4 years, really. When Jeff Hunter, Graydon Blevins, Robert Perry, the list would go on. But I had to redshirt my first year at Southeastern, so I got to watch those guys really develop a great sense of camaraderie. And I watched that, and it kind of sucked. I was on the sidelines watching them, play well, and but I made that decision to play at Southeastern redshirt, so it was worth the wait in the long run. But I think as we progressed as a team, and Marcos came in, Sebastian, Guillermo, they were kind of the heart of it. They had some Latin fire and passion, and I think that just kind of leaked into all of us. And we just kind of rode that train, and we all just kind of believed in each other. And like I said, that started those early years whenever I was there, watching all those other guys, have a great camaraderie, and just that overall sense that we could make it further into the postseason, maybe even get to nationals. So, we definitely had a heartbreak my 4th year there. Let's see here, that would be my junior year. Oh, no, sorry, 2015, I believe.
2015.
Whenever we I think we missed nationals by 1 stroke at Cog Hill in Chicago, and oh man, it was just a brutal day there. But I think having that sour taste in our mouth made the final year where we just we went out on a mission, and we almost won the Super Regional in Michigan on just the worst possible weather day you can imagine. There's no way golf gets any harder than that, what we played in that final round.
Well, you hinted at a little bit something that I'd kind of, it was in the back of my mind, and I really hadn't thought about it in a while, but the way you guys did in 2015, if I remember right, it was you kind of rallied from a rough first round at the Super Regional and fell just a stroke or 2 shy, but then to come back the next year and just really command the field the way you did, and no doubt earn your trip to nationals. Was there a lot of revenge in that, or a lot of maybe avenging the previous season?
Oh my, yes, absolutely. And we had Sebastian Otoya. He actually his eligibility was stripped that last year, and he was there with us as the assistant. And Sebastian loved to hype us up and talk to us whenever we really needed it coming down the stretch. And and you got to talk about the other guys. Zach James, Hayden Foster, Marcos, and me, Guillermo. We just we had a great set of guys that anyone could shoot in the 60s. We knew that. We knew every single one of us had the capability to go out there, make birdies, and get the job done. So, like I said, we had that sense of belief, and knowing that we missed nationals by 1 stroke the year before was just a lot of fuel for us to ride on. And we were there to win. We weren't there to qualify for nationals. We were there to solidify our spot at nationals, and I think that was a mentality that really drove us forward especially on the last day we came in. I think everyone played really, really well. It was it was definitely some revenge there.
Well, you guys go to nationals, have a pretty solid showing. Just do miss the stroke, or through the stroke play rounds. Just missed the match play final, which at the time was the best showing any Great American Conference team had at nationals. Kind of looking back on how you guys played over your time here, how would you kind of sum that up for your personal experience?
The trip to nationals, or
really how that culminated your entire time working in from coming in with kind of no history to
Sure.
the program and to the guys that were here and the work that they put in and then the work you guys put in together?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there was no better way to end my journey at Southeastern than going to the national championship in Denver, Colorado. And it was, I mean, it's just a great experience to have, some of your closest friends, competing with them for the last time, and even seeing some of them for the last time. I haven't seen, Marcos, Guillermo, Sebastian. Like, I guess we've kept up with each other through, social media and stuff like that. But, being able to compete with them on one of the biggest stages in, for the NCAA championship was something I'll never forget. I'll always cherish that. And, that whole year itself is just something that would propel me to believe in myself even further. You have these goals, and when you see yourself play well and you win and you achieve an accomplishment, like obviously going to nationals for the first time in school history, not only does that kind of set the tone for not generations to come, but more Southeastern golfers to follow. Is I chose to pursue golf at the next level, and my time at Southeastern and having a great coach of Don Hudson, great teammates, is a great part of what made me who I am today.
You hinted there, the last thing I want to ask you kind of about your time here was setting up the program. And, like I said, you guys come in, the group gets together and really builds up. And then that last year you're here, you're playing with Zach James, Hayden Foster, some of the guys who would then carry on that and keep this golf program at a high level, essentially for a decade's worth of playing, when you factor in where you came in and what you guys built up to where it was when they left. Just talk a little bit about how you personally feel being part of building that base for a program.
It's just something that everyone is, especially everyone that was on the team then, we all knew that we had something special, and being able to develop those close relationships was a big factor in that belief system that we created for maybe, Zach and Hayden to carry on their last few years at Southeastern. But as far as the impact, like I said, we go back to my sophomore year, my first year at Southeastern, and me seeing the relationships be built in front of me whenever they were competing with each other and all that is not tradition, but, it's something that I think every elite team needs to have. And I mean, it obviously really showed. And it just takes the right people. I mean, Zach James, Hayden Foster, Marcus, I mean, all the guys, Sebastian G, they're just great guys, great group of guys that were very competitive at that. So hopefully I answered the question. I don't know if
You did. It's it's a little bit difficult to be asked, like, what's it like to get in on the ground floor of something, but and so let's move on a little bit, because you hinted that you've gone on and managed to compete some post your collegiate career, and I want to talk about your transition into playing professionally.
Okay. Sorry, it's a little.
It doesn't look cold. It looks nice out, but I imagine it's probably a little chilly. So, and we'll get to where you are in a minute. But first, let's talk about how difficult that jump was going from college to playing professionally, especially the way you have to do it at the in golf.
Yeah. Well, when I graduated, I was teaching right away. Lantana Golf Club, one of my home golf courses there in Argyle. And obviously I was fresh out of a hot year at Southeastern, and I had a lot of confidence. And that's what this game takes. You have to have confidence in yourself. And if you don't believe in yourself, then you're already behind the pace. You're not going to make it. So the transition of playing, collegiately to the professional level was I knew it would be tough. I shouldn't think it'd be that tough. There's a lot of things I learned, especially my first few years. You have to travel. You got a budget. You got to do all these things, and there's not just a one-way ticket to the PGA Tour. There's a lot of ways to get to where we all want to get to as professional golfers. You kind of have to. There's a lot of trials and tribulations you got to go through. So, I think the first thing I learned was you got to be consistent. And like we talked about, I was a very aggressive player, and I made a bunch of bogeys. I'd always have a double bogey waiting around because I'm so aggressive. And you can't make cuts, or you can't win tournaments if you make too many of those. So that was the first big transition into professional golf, was trying to mature my golf game. Obviously have everything intact for the week. Like I said, making sure that you are eating proper, you got the right travel details all sorted out, and you have to practice a bunch. I mean, it's just a very tough game that I chose to play.
So it sounds like the biggest gap probably becomes you have to worry about so much more off the course than you did when you were competing in maybe high school and college and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an expensive game, and it's one where you need a very good network of people supporting you. And I was lucky enough to have that. Whenever I was coaching at Lantana, a bunch of the members backed me, and they gave me the entry fees to play for a full season. So, for a half season, which I played pretty well my first year on the All Pro Tour. I guess back then it was the Adams Tour. But I kind of had some winnings, and I just keep going, and that's just what it's about. It's about continuing to grind and continuing to believe in your dream, and just to never give up. And that's when I say it out loud, that's something that I definitely learned my last few years at Southeastern with some great teammates with me and Don Hudson.
Now, you hinted a little bit that you jumped into teaching the game. And you're currently a lead instructor at Cowboys Golf Club.
Yes.
First, I want to ask you, how do you land a gig like that?
Well, so obviously I started at Lantana Golf Club, and I was playing so much that the junior program there, they wanted someone a little bit more consistent full-time teaching, because I was playing full-time for I say full-time. For me, it felt like full-time. I was playing about 8 or 10 events a year. And one day I was like, they didn't necessarily need me for the junior program because they had that position filled again. So it's funny. I walked out here to the range at Cowboys. I was playing one day, and Britt Sherrock, our director of instruction, he was out there teaching, and I knew he was about to finish up his lesson. And I just went over to him and I asked him, he's like, hey, I'm not playing as much this last year for the summer. I was wondering if you need any help with your junior program. And he was like, really? Yes, absolutely. I need someone. So it just kind of happened. I've always been kind of a lucky person. I don't know if it's because I'm a little bit Irish, but I definitely lucked into this job for sure.
Well, it's certainly some good direct networking helps out like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, as we were talking about you transitioning, I want to go back to something we had talked about before that I found kind of interesting. You're playing, and you still play from time to time, but you've managed to partner up from time to time with another one of your former teammates to get some tournaments in. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so, right whenever Hayden he graduated, and I think he did the same thing I did. His first professional tournament that he qualified for was the Texas State Open. And I was super pumped. I knew Hayden and I talked. Obviously, I knew he was going to turn professional. And, saying turning professional it's kind of redundant, because all you do is check a box and say that you're going to play for money. That's how, if you're wondering how to become a golf pro, that's the easiest way to do it. You just check a box and play a tournament. But, yeah, so I think we both qualified that year. I had to create the last 2 state opens I've qualified for. They just ended so crazy, and I eagled the last hole to get in. I don't think Hayden had that issue. I think he just had a good round and stress-free round. But That's just how good of a player he is. But anyway, we both qualified for the Texas State Open and Cascades and Tyler. And I think this was, goodness, all my years are running along. I think it's a year and a half ago now, or sometime then, 2019. And 2020 has been so long. How Matt just rattling
a couple of years in 2020.
But yeah, that was our first tournament that we traveled, with each other. And it just, same old. We traveled together in college, and it's good to have that friend there with you, talking about your round, how it went. I believe we both made the cut. I think we both made it. I can't really remember. But I played pretty good at that State Open. I think I got a top 25 or so, maybe a 27th. But, yeah, it's always nice to have some fellow Savage Storm teammates, because it gets lonely out there. It does get lonely on the road.
Well, it's nice to have somebody to share a meal with, talk shop with, and definitely probably nice to have somebody to split a hotel room with.
Yeah, I got to cut those costs down for sure.
Let's start wrap this up a little bit, because I'm really curious about what day-to-day life is like out on the golf course as a lead instructor. So
we have junior programs that run almost every day. I think we only have 2 days off, which would be Sunday and Monday. But even then, I'm either teaching a private lesson or, I'm just trying to get some practice in. So Tuesday through Saturday, from about 3 o'clock to dark. And here it's getting dark early, obviously, this year, or the end of the year. So we have an indoor facility that we go to finish up our programs whenever it gets too dark, obviously, to be out here, or if it's too cold. But I start my day out here. I usually get to the golf course around 8 or 9 o'clock. I definitely work out before. You got to believe me on that one. But, yeah, 2020, I'm trying to get it all back together. But I definitely I hit some range balls. I get the the program set up, whether it's short game tasks or range tasks that we're gonna have ready for our kids later that day. I typically play 3 times a week, so obviously I'm still trying to keep my golf game intact. Not just for myself, but also to be able to give examples to my students. I firmly believe if you're out here standing behind a student and you say, "Oh, give me that club. Let me show you how it's done," and you shank the ball, 10 times in a row, they're probably not going to believe what you have to say. So you got to keep the game tight, not just for competition, but also it's definitely an asset to have as a golf instructor to be able to pull off the shots that you're talking about. So, you preach what you teach, or whatever that term is that's said. But yeah, typically Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm probably going to play after this conversation. But Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings, I'm out playing, and like I said, just trying to keep the game sharp and continue to chase that dream of making it on tour.
And we've been talking as we've talked to different people and what they're doing today. I want to mention a little bit about, or I want to ask you a little bit about how the pandemic has kind of intruded upon your work life or your regular life, your competition life, and what kind of effect that's had on you over the last few months.
I was very excited to start this year. I was coming into the 2020 season for my playing season in very good form, and playing in the first All-Pro Tour event, the Coca-Cola Dr. Pepper Open there in Louisiana. Played that event. That was in early March, and the second event, I played well enough, and I just used my entry fee to say, okay, I guess I'm going to the next event. And Hayden was actually with me that tournament too. We drove down to Marksville, Marksville, Louisiana, if anyone knows where that is. We're not, the mini tours, we're not playing Augusta National or anything. We're out there on some not necessarily known golf courses, but sure enough, that event in Marksville, we're having dinner, and you look around all over the place. There's shutdowns happening, when you're out to eat, and the tour, All-Pro Tour, is in contact with us saying, we're still on for the event. And then sure enough, we're playing the practice round, and they said they canceled because the casino, the tournament sponsor, shut down. So that was the start of it for me. And then all of a sudden, okay, I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm going back to teaching. And then I guess the provisions or restrictions that we had with social distancing and, Tarrant County where I teach here at Cowboys Golf Club, and it's in Grapevine, Texas, kind of shut down our junior program. So for a minute there, I wasn't even working. I was just living at home, and I moved back from Fort Worth because I just couldn't afford it, and it was tough. It was definitely a very hard experience. And then I guess I lasted for a couple months. Then May, June rolled around. All I did was play golf every day. I mean, so I didn't have as bad as many people, but I was very lucky to have my parents let me live at home, and I guess I just practiced. Obviously, I couldn't go out to eat or anything. So I just sat at home all day, or definitely I'm lucky I had golf. I'm just going to say that. Could have been a very depressing time for me, which I'm sure it was for many, many other people. But and things kind of turned around in the summer. The restrictions became a little less, and I think people just got really antsy in their houses or got tired of their kids, because we saw an immediate growth of our program. I bet those parents were like, oh my gosh, I'm so sick of my kid. Just take them. So I don't want to say it was a blessing in disguise for me, but it kind of was to, kind of think about things I needed to improve on myself and my teaching career, playing career, whatever it is, health wise. And then to kind of come out of the quarantine it's been pretty good. I'd say I'm back on my feet again, looking for a new place to live in Dallas. So things are definitely turning around, but 2020 is, coming into an end, and hopefully next year is much, much better.
Well, I get the impression that the thing about 2020 has been all about finding the silver linings, and it seems like you've been able to do that, at least coming out of the lockdowns and things like that I know affected Tarrant County and all of the metro areas pretty bad, pretty hard in the late summer. But
Yeah.
to come out and be able to find the silver linings and maybe find yourself better than you were going in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, I kind of lucked into this job. I've just been kind of a lucky guy, and I'm really blessed to be able to be here at Cowboys Golf Club and continue to chase my dream of playing golf. And teaching's been something that's helped me do that. So definitely looking forward to see what the future has.
Well, Mason, let's wrap this up. I want to give you one last chance to. What would you like to say to the fans or the people from Southeastern, the supporters of the golf program, about your time here?
I just want to say thank you to all the sponsors of SC Athletics. First and foremost, I think each program has been steadily growing, and we're seeing progress, I think, from every sport. So to all the fans, Southeastern fans, I just want to say thanks, and continue to chase your dreams, don't ever give up, and go Savage Storm.
Thanks again, Mason. That's Mason Horner, golf great, helped build up the program here. Mason, best of luck at Cowboys Golf Club and getting back into competing. Hope we see you soon.
Absolutely, Matt. Thank you for having me.
Take care.
All right, have a good day.